What is going on, guys? Joey Frenzel here with FLEXX Training Systems. Today, I would like to tell you that you have a lot more potential, or there's a lot more that you can get out of your training than you actually are. Now, for those of you that have been listening to me for a long time, maybe you guys pretty much got this under control, and you getting the good most out of it. But I thought it would be useful to come on here and talk about this because let me kind of paint a picture for you guys. So, let's say I have a lifter that is a very, they're really busy. They have a, corporate job, or maybe they're an entrepreneur. And they train, but they just train. They just kind of lift, right? And they're really, really involved in their work, and they're not only powerlifting. So there's a lot of little things that they're not paying attention to because their work just takes up so much of their life. So, there's lifters that will literally, they'll be training for years, but they'll not really put 100% into it because their job is so much of their attention span, right? But maybe they'll have little spurts where they'll eat some protein, or they'll get some sleep, or do what they got to do. So over time, they just kind of train, and they start to build their what their perception of powerlifting is, and what they think that they can expect from training, what they can get out of training. And they'll do this for many years, right? And they'll do it for so long that they won't really experience anything different, right? That's all they know. That's all they've done. They've always had this job, and they've always just kind of trained, and they just kind of did whatever. They didn't really try to really maximize everything. They didn't really try to, put all their variables together and kind of see what they could get from their training if they really took it serious, right? And recently with somebody that I'm working with, they're very, very, very successful, business-wise, and they're just kind of always on the run, always doing things. And they kind of have this perception of powerlifting, and then, they come to me, and then they want to get better, whatever, this and that. And we start you guys know I'm really big on making sure that your variables outside of the gym are on point, so you can have maximum recovery, and you can just get the most out of your training. If the only variable we have to worry about is your training, it's going to be very easy to make predictable training more quickly, have the right amount of frequency, the right amount of accessories, and find the right balance for you that's going to work really, really, really well for you. And we can really just kind of focus on choosing the right ways with RPEs and things like that. So when this person comes to me, they have that prior sort of experience with what lifting is, right? They only know what they've done before. And, they don't expect to get that much out of those other little things. So for example, a lot of lifters, they don't even know how much protein they're taking in, right? So if I talk to them and I say, I'm taking in, they're like, oh shit, I'm taking in only 70 grams of protein a day. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy. 70 grams a day, you're 250 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably going to be more than that if they're that big, but there have been especially girls, they might be 130, 140 pounds, and they're only getting in 60, 70, 80 grams of protein. It's you're just leaving gains on the table, and it's as simple as fixing that. You know what I mean? It's literally that easy. Let me tell you, somebody that gets enough protein versus somebody that doesn't, it's very noticeable, and it's a huge, just 180 complete difference, right? So you have this person, they're not used to getting the most out of their training. And then they start showing a little bit of effort, right? They start okay, let me focus on this, let me focus on that. And then, really quickly, their numbers start to pop off in a way that they never experienced, right? And it kind of unlocks this whole sort of it kind of shows them like, wow, all this time I haven't been doing things the right way, and I just kind of thought that, whatever 600 deadlift or whatever 405 bench, whatever, I thought just that was it. Like, that was just, I can't really get over that plateau. And for most people listening to this right now, all the time, I can tell there's a new wave of people getting into powerlifting because the questions that I'm getting asked when I do my Q&As and stuff, or just randomly on Instagram, are very much like, they're very like, this person is brand new, right? Like, I could just tell, nobody that's been listening to Joey's videos for like 5 years is gonna have these questions because we've gone over it many, many times. So, it's usually the questions like, I have a plateau, I'm stuck, my bench is going up, my deadlift's not going up. It's been like that for years or whatever, right? But I think a lot of reason why people just kind of get stuck in that is because, like I said, they have some other things going on, and they're really just looking at the training, and they're not really thinking about nutrition, sleep, recovery, stress levels, your training setting, what kind of gym you're at, and all these things. They don't know any of that stuff, right? So it makes sense. It does make sense. But, so going back to this example that I'm giving you guys that's very long and drawn out, you show this person a little bit of what can happen when you optimize variables, and now they're starting to see these gains, and it really just shows them you have so much more potential than you think, and if you give it a little time, focusing on the things that matter, you're going to be way farther ahead than you ever thought you could have. And it just, it's not like, I don't want to say wasted years. Maybe you're lifting less weight, longer, so your connective tissues are going to have more, time to kind of catch up to catch up to the weight that you're lifting, and you do that for many years. So it's like, really, you have a really solid base. And if you were getting stronger, like, I don't know, you probably would have got injured because you're lifting like crazy ass weight. I don't know. I'm just literally trying to find a positive if someone is wasting their years, training and not making gains. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep making gains and not break. So why am I telling you this? Well, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you guys out there that just simply, you just not taking care of the things that you need to take care of outside the gym, or maybe your training is not on point, or maybe you have like a certain level of strength and you're kind of like okay with it, like you're pretty content, but you haven't really tried to put like a little more effort into trying to get the most out of your training, right? And for a lot of you guys, it's there. It's on the table. Like, you just have to make the effort. It's the same thing with like people that say like, oh, dieting's hard for me, I can't lose weight, whatever, this and that. And it's like, yeah, but you haven't, one, you're not doing the right things. Two, you haven't really tried. Like, you try a little bit, maybe you try for a day or two, try 2-3 days, whatever, a week, 2 weeks, but then you fall off again. You fall back into those habits. And for some people, lifting is the same way. So for example, your daily habits, so or your job or whatever you're doing, it's just not the best thing for your progress. And it can be very frustrating for people because they don't understand that. It's so normal for them that they don't even think to try to change something like that. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, So I think I'm going to title this video, You're Stronger Than You Think, or you have something with potential. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's basically what I wanted to say. Some of you guys are probably so caught up in your reality that you don't understand that there is very simple things that you can do to change your lifestyle and what's going on, and you're just going to get that much more out of your training. And then I was thinking about this earlier, and then you kind of figure out that, at that point, if you've been training for a long time and you're just not really making progress, and then you start optimizing things, maybe you're having those kind of intermediate noob gains again, right? It's like a different context now, right? True noob gains is like you're just making progress no matter what you're doing. You're doing everything wrong, but you're still making progress because it's such a new thing, right? And the body adapts in, very dramatic ways to like new stimulus. So now you know, your variables on point or whatever, and you're making good progress again. All this time you thought you were like, dang man, like my best days behind me, whatever. But now look, right? You got all this in front of you now. You got all this on the table. So, you know, you just don't know unless you try. And then once you get there and you've been optimizing things for, that's how you break into being like a GOAT, like being like one of the best, right? Is when you're taking care of everything outside the gym. You have a little bit of genetic potential and you're training correctly. And then over time, you're really going to start to pack on the gains and you're really going to make progress and you're kind of break into that, you know, new next level of lifter. And then we're going to kind of see when the going gets tough and you've been doing that for many, many years, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder, right? You might train your fucking ass off for a year or two once you get to that level, and you might only put 10 pounds on your squat, you know, maybe 15 pounds on your squat, 10 pounds on your bench, maybe 5, and maybe 10 or 20 on your deadlift after like a year, right? And that's how it's going to be. It's going to get harder and harder. I don't think progress stops. I don't. I think it's just going to get harder it's going to slow down like a lot, right? Maybe for some people, it'll slow down to a certain point, and then it's going to get really, 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 really hard. But everybody's different, you know, and obviously if you're a bigger person, you know, 10 pounds for someone that weighs 350 pounds is like literally nothing. Whereas 10 pounds for someone that weighs 114 pounds is like very significant. Like that's huge. That's like, you should be proud of that. So yeah, that's all I want to say. For those of you out there that are stuck, you know, you just kind of do your routine and you're like, oh man, like, you can't even imagine hitting a PR just because you've been stuck for so long. There are things that you can do, and there is a like your perception of what is possible is probably very flawed and built around your past experiences. And for me personally, working with people, seeing them, showing them this side of, hey man, like look, there's another like whole frontier out there. There's another potential that you could be experiencing. Like there's new gains that you could be experiencing, but you're not doing the things that you need to do to get that out. So let's do them. And then then you might just fucking fall, like lifting might just become a whole another amazing thing for you. So anyway, just want to come here and talk. Congratulations to all the young Flex boys competing at teen nationals. I think it's going on right now. And then we got the juniors and the collegiates. I really wanted to be there, but I'm dealing with some stuff back home. You know what they say about that stuff. Got to deal with it. But I am going to try to get out to the next event. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for making it this far. If you're one of those people that you've been in a slump and you're like, man, how can I make gains? I've been stuck for so long. Just know that there is probably like 90% sure there's things that you could be changing, simple things, and you're going to unlock that. You're going to unlock that next step. You're going to unlock that next level. You're going to go from that intermediate to advanced. You're going to go from advanced to elite, and elite to international elite to fucking GOAT. Fucking GOAT to flex boy. Boom. There you go, brothers. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.